grand setting. I want to talk Ascension. I made a video. It was I'm not sure if it was yesterday or day before yesterday. The video was posted, and I realized that we live our lives not knowing the impacts that happen in our in our daily activities when it comes to spiritual matters. And sometimes we have to be reminded, or somebody has to remind someone, the values of one becoming spiritual to the level of manifesting themselves in a different reality at the same time in this dimension, or the planet that we all live in, the third dimensional planet. And I made something aware to a lot of people that Ascension can be very tricky. Everyone in this world, they go through Ascension. And it's not going to be felt the same way like everybody does. I might ascend in a different way, and you might ascend in a different way, but at the end of the day, everybody will ascend. And the beautiful thing about Ascension, you get to find yourself in a different plane. I did say this, that sometimes you'll find people, they trying to connect with you, but it's hard. They cannot, because you're not really at the same plane existence with them. And the moment when you have found a way to focus into something that has so much spiritual values, you bring yourself to a reality, or to people that are part of that reality, and they start dragging you back into it. And most of the time it happens that you don't even realize it. You've actually put yourself in a different plane. But the moment those people are no longer around you, now you start to reflect back on the reality you have been before they came. So it happens in a mysterious way that can be very complicated sometimes. Ascension is not something that you can talk about, but it's something that's felt. And I might tell you the kind of an ascension I've been through, and it won't resonate with you. And you might tell somebody what you went through when you ascend, and people won't relate the same. But me having to go live on this, I just wanted to say that everybody shouldn't get too worried or to be pressured to think that you're not going to ascend. Everybody's going to ascend, everyone. But the ascension people are going to have will not be the same, right? It will not be the same, unfortunately. There are some people, they will ascend to the fourth dimension. Some will ascend to the fifth dimension. Some will ascend to the sixth dimension. And all of this are just experiences. And I want to say, there is a chance for you to be in the fifth dimension physically, but the physical self will not be too physical like you've known it to be. You become in a different reality, and the fifth dimension is not all positive. I personally think that all dimensions are not meant to be positive or negative or good or haven or a way of thinking that when I'm there, I'll have the best of my life. Because if you're going to have the best of your life in every reality or dimension you're going to be in, then it will not really make sense. There's something wrong with it. So these dimensions, or having to ascend to different planes, there are challenges, hardships that you're going to have to learn to overcome, because there's no sort of a limitation to these things. As a matter of fact, the more you ascend, relatively, the harder things may become, because you start to explore, you start to open up to different reality, you start to learn, and you start to realize that everything that you've learned and have been through in self-education or being educated, reading books and whatnot, is beyond it. You actually realize that you don't know anything. There's so much to learn. So I always say this. That just because you see me making this video right now, and you have the knowledge that I'm here in the third dimension, it doesn't mean that I'm really here. A body is always a vessel, and it's not a vessel that is being used, but you are the one that's using the kind of a vessel to transmutate or pass on information to this body in order for it to reflect to the rest of the people in the room, wherever. So you get to use this body that's in the third dimension, and in a reality form you might be in a higher plane existence. So you might come across me physically or having to meet with me, but it doesn't mean that I am here in this third dimensional world. Yes, physically you can touch me, I can touch you, but it doesn't mean that it really doesn't mean that I'm here. So this is the deep impact of the importance of ascending, and it's not something very deep. So many people will think that, yeah, because you are a Christian, you're religious, you're not going to ascend. I used to talk like that sometimes, but all of this is a game. I realized that when you take life too serious to that end, and you're calling people names that you're this, you're that, none of that really matters. None of that really matters. It's just an experience. But you can be a hardcore Christian, you can call Jesus, or have this belief in the faith. It's a practice you're going through right now, and we will have groups of people saying that it's slowing things down. If it is slowing things down, it's because we are allowing it. Because sometimes we can talk about things that hit us the most, but the fact that we're talking about them and we're not really doing anything about it, we have made it comfortable for this reality to maintain it and for us to coexist with it. And at some point, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just an experience, right? It's just an experience. That is why there is what you call reincarnation and incarnating. Because right now you could be a Christian, you could be a Muslim, or you could be religious. And I definitely know that the next time around, when you come back and you reincarnate, you might be interested in ascending, right? You might be interested in ascending. It's all just an experience, but everybody is going to ascend, whether you're good, whether you're bad. Everybody will ascend, but it won't happen in the same generation or same time zone, but everybody will ascend. And that's a beautiful thing about ascension. Sometimes we carry out a lot of information, and we want to be quick with it in putting it out there to so many people, to think that if this is not done right now, you're gonna be left behind. I'll tell you now that I've seen so many people have ascended and they've not yet realized it. But the signs are there, you realize it. The signs are there, you will realize it. People will try to get to you, but it'll feel like you're not. You know, some people ask you, where have you been? You know, where are you living in this world? I don't really see you. You become like an alien to so many people. It's like you don't exist around them, you know. You might be in the same room with so many people, but they don't really pay attention to you, because part of ascension, you become invincible. And when the world is having this idea that let us go and do this and this and that to fight for this world, you don't feel the same, right? Yes, you want to do it, but you're not attracted to that energy. You feel like you're in a world or space where everything is okay for you. And when I say everything is okay for you, not in a materialistic way, but from a subconscious mind to expressing your spirit and your conscious level of understanding the self, what it needs and how it has to behave, it's just okay. And sometimes that will make you feel like you will question this: why am I not actually really interested in what's happening in this world? Because consciousness has its own maturity, right? And the more you become alienated from this physical third dimensional world in a conscious way, that is when you realize that your maturity in a conscious level is starting to reflect differently. And that's when now comes this thing that people don't understand you, people don't really get you. You've changed. What's happening with you, you know? Sometimes you might not actually even realize it, that you have changed, until people tell you that. So ascension is a beautiful thing, and everybody will ascend. Your children are ascending right now. Animals ascend a lot. Animals ascend a lot. Somebody asked me about the sun. The sun is different. There's nothing wrong with the sun. There's like more than 3 suns in the sky right now, and but the movement of it, not everybody will feel the same energy, or reflect towards it the same like everybody does. It becomes too complex. But one thing I can say is there's always these signs are always there. If you pay attention, if you were to go outside and just pay attention to what's happening in the sky, you will notice that the sky would like be flashy, like somebody's turning it on and off. Few people will see this. I see it all the time. But people will see this. Like, let me put it this way. When Mother Nature or the planet Ascend itself, right, it behaves in a pattern that when you start to receive the downloads of that reflection, for some of you it won't be instant. I know that people that are aligned with the path 1111 like myself, okay, let me not duplicate it. 11 path 11, 22 and 33. You're most likely to receive the first download of an ascension that automatically upgrades you, and the people that are on the life path number 2, because they have the old soul in you has so much understanding of what takes place and effects in this world before everybody does. So anything that happens with Mother Nature, it'll start with you first, because the energy of it behaves in such a pattern that the people that you're around, with your energy flourishing inside of your system, it is quicker for it to connect to everybody in the room than the reflection that actually comes from above or around the conscious level of Mother Nature's upgrade. It also has a way to impact you. Then it makes it easy for the web to continue. But when Mother Nature starts to ascend, for some of you it won't be instant. The downloads will delay, but they'll come to connect with you fully. And it will happen that it comes in the form of a dream, it comes in the form of a vision, it comes in the form of a deja vu, it comes in the form of astral traveling, it comes in the form of a physical interaction with a thought form to reflect inside and signal you 1, 2, 3 and 4 that I have to do in order for me to align with this energy. So when Mother Nature ascends, it just reflects all that energy to everybody, but to some of you it doesn't come instant, and it will wait for you, right, until it actually reaches out to you. People, when they look at ascension, they think it happens the same way. Some of you don't ascend physically, although the first layer it affects the most is a spirit form, conscious, the soul. Some of you, when you ascend, it will happen in the form of a dream. It will happen in a form of astral traveling. It won't be instant that right now you're receiving this energy and you start to make sense out of it, but instantly it will change, because the engagement of these things or the upgrade that needs to take place in you, it is evidence that you are technology, like your body, the way of from a crystal pattern to a reaction of that energy. When you start to connect and upgrade, you realize that you're more like a technology that is always that has to be charged at some point in order for you to reflect differently amongst the people that you live with in this world. I probably shouldn't be saying this because it might confuse. Hours ago, I was in a different planetary system, right? And it was like the type of upgrade that I felt that I was in part with. I don't know if it's too soon me speaking about this, but this will happen in this world right now. When people are always hearing about the earth upgrading or the ascension taking place, they're hearing about it. And I know this, people question this a lot, but that why can't we see this ascension happening physically, right? It happens in a pattern that you feel it only, and there's symptoms. You don't want to eat this, you become too emotional, triggers, traumas, past pain comes for you. Now you have to heal, you have to stop ignoring this, you need to follow your path, and you need to live your life the way you have been triggered to when you start to ascend. This is something felt, right? Because ascension, it's more of a feeling than of you seeing it. You only see it in your mind's eye. That has a strand that's connected to your heart, right? So when the way everything happened in the sky, and I'm telling you, it was this earth, it was the same earth, but I was in a different time zone. It was like, have you noticed the orbs of light? When the orbs of light appeared in the sky, they were reflecting like planets, like you would see, or when they're exposed, and they were engaging with each other, and they were changing and multiplying in the balls and orbs of light, and some of them were expressing themselves in a planetary system that you wouldn't say and tell that it is a planet, but you're still reflecting it as an orb of light, because that's what's around us most of the time. And sometimes when you're in your living room, you switch off your lights, you can see these orbs of light. But this happens if you're in a different space at that time, spiritually, with your conscious mind and connecting with your heart. So the energies were harmonizing, and when they were changing its reflection up in the sky, planets would actually appear with these orbs of light now in the reality, and the sky would actually change, like you would know how a simulation tends to behave. And the feeling of it was harmonizing the self with the people that I was with in this time realm, and the expression of it was just wonderful. So when I came into this time zone, it was more like this is going to be a feeling that's felt with everybody, and you will see this happen in the sky. It might not be now, it might not be now, tomorrow, or years to come, but that's what I'm saying. I don't know if what I'm saying is too soon to say and talk about it. And the way the energies were behaving, it was more like a reversal of everything. And it was expressing the physical reality of people seeing in an energy field that's exposed how it feels like when Mother Nature starts to ascend. It's like it takes you with it, and you're literally like feeling yourself now being on that spirit connecting with you. So I'm trying to say this without because I know I might sound like this might come too confusing. Like if it happens that you see the sky, because this is easy to see at night than it is daylight. It's easy, like it's easy to it's easy for them to manipulate the sky in daylight than it is when it's not actually the exposed light that you see up in the sky in the daylight, right? So at night it happens that you'll start to see the sky changing in different colors, and those are the glimpses of you having to witness physically first that Mother Nature keeps on ascending. So there's really no special occasion. There's really no special occasion that Earth is going to ascend years to come, or Earth is going to ascend 2020 whatsoever. And none of that is real. None of that is real. But this is a game. We want to, like, the Earth is gonna be boring if to what the knowledge people have known to be when it comes to wisdom and understanding everything. Earth was going to be very boring if we didn't have if we didn't have a way of expressing that today is Tuesday, tomorrow is Monday, this and this and this and that. It was gonna be very boring to what people have known to understand about the simulation of the matrix. But in reality, there's no special occasions when it comes to ascension. Ascension is happening every day. That is what I'm saying to you, right? I don't want to say I know, because it'll make me sound like I'm trying to tell people that I know everything. I have more experience of this because I'm an old soul. I know so much of the past that I have been living in this world in different, energies and characters and whatnot. But like, I can say that ascension now is beginning from this level, right? And it sparks the light and it comes here, and you are here as a person. Then it separates itself in different reactions, and the particles of it fall differently to try to reach out to you, right? And you might be the first person that's here, the first reflection of this ascension that's coming in a light way. It starts to impact and penetrate inside of you. And sometimes even if it finds you, you don't react to it immediately. But with some other people, because of their lifestyle, you start to actually react to it immediately. And sometimes with other people, when ascension comes in this sense, because some of you might actually be far away, it'll come here. Then when you start to be drawn with this energy attraction, then you start to be one with this ascension. So each and every ascension of an upgrade, even though we know that at this point it was supposed to reach people, another ascension will come above and surpass this one, because there are people that have already surpassed the first ascension, that is standing waiting for the rest of the people to connect with it. That when they start to receive it, now the second ascension that is past the second ascension that is past the first ascension, that is going to reach out to the people that have actually experienced this one, it starts to actually be fruitful in this way. So ascension is like that. And it's like the energies are gravitating towards each other. And if you are reflecting the same way, then it'll start to connect with you as well. I just hope I just hope I'm not confusing anyone. Everybody will ascend. That's what I want. That's what I'm trying to say, that everybody will ascend. But um, don't try to force yourself. And I really apologize for everybody, even though I don't think I need to. I really do apologize for everybody who has been forcing you to this information, to this enlightenment, because it's not really fun if you're being forced into it. It's more confusing. Ever asked yourself, what about the people that don't actually listen to such conversation? What's happening with them? Are they ascending? Yes, they are. They are ascending. We're having people that are in the forest right now. They're not actually exposed to this life, to this reality, or this material world. They're not at all. But they are ascending. Ascension is deeper than you having to learn about it. Like, picture yourself in a world where the only thing that you know is happiness. You're always happy. You're not stressed by paying bills. You know that your daily life activity, you go out there and plant your seed, and do your gardening. You get your fruits and vegetables from there. You're just happy. And you being happy, automatically you can never be happy without you vibrating to the level of the unconditional love, because that's one thing it takes for you to ascend. I'm telling you. When you start to do meditation, you start to practice Merkaba, you start to practice Kundalini awakening, you start to align yourself. That's always been a backup plan, that if we find ourselves in this reality where people have been suppressed to the point that they don't have they don't have the enough space for them now to resonate with their heart without actually having to think about troubles, bills to pay, employment, anything that might be stressful that is connected to the materialistic world. It'll be easy for you to vibrate high with your heart, because you'll be more focused in this. Because like anything that is of a stressful level, it comes from the mind. You get what I'm saying? It comes from the mind. If you were to be in your heart, you will not see all of those things, and immediately you start to exist in a different plane, in a different form. So what am I trying to say? That all the meditations, the yoga, and all the practice, they're still important, but they have always been a backup plan, that should we find ourselves in this position right now, we know how to teach, or how we can gather information to put people into one place or perspective consciously from their subconscious mind. That when you start to close your eyes and start to do any practice that's very more spiritual, then it reminds you how to go back to your heart and start to gravitate towards the changes that happen naturally. It's always been a backup plan. But right now, if you were to forget about all the negativity, and you stop living from your mind and live from your heart, and have this unconditional love towards everything around you, Mother Nature, the people that are in your life, you do not have any space to hate. It'll be easy for you to ascend without actually having to meditate and do those things. But how many people will do that in this world? That's the problem. Not everybody. It's one thing that's hard for people to do in this world is to lose all the ego. And the ego is influenced by the materialistic world most of the time. Then you start to pay homage to the flesh in a negative way, that you do not see the power and the values of it, that when it is connected with your conscious level, your soul, your spirit, you merge all of this, and it'll automatically make you connect the dots in finding your heart. It becomes different. How many people will be able to do that? It's only a few. So connecting with this way of meditating and being spiritual, finding yourself, irregardless of what is your belief, you might be a believer of Christ or Jesus, but you still have a way to practice spirituality, or to find yourself in a way that it will lead the impact of connecting with your heart. Because I'm saying to you again, all of it is just a game, right? Everything that's happening in this world, including spirituality, it's all just a game. It shouldn't be taken too serious on that level, because you miss the point of experiencing it all. You could be the worst killer right now, but I definitely know that when you come back, it's going to be a different thing. Because I once said this before, that even if you reincarnate so many times, there is a time whereby you'll stop that and you'll start to ascend. Because this is like a child. When a child learns, they go through mistakes so many times until they figure it out, that, oh, this is how things should be done, right? So that reincarnation is similar to that. Reincarnation is similar to that. You'll do all the bad experiences. You'll have birthmarks that I told people about at some point, that I've shared information about, that they will remind you of the wrong that you've been doing in this world, or any traumatic experience that you had, or how you died and whatnot. But all of it is a chance you've been given, that when you come back and reincarnate, because you've actually passed through this experience, now I'm going to move on to this and feel each and every experience. Like, I'll make an example. Let's say in order for you to ascend, right? Let's say in order for you to ascend, or how planet has been programmed, right? Which I think I'll talk about this, if just to explain that when the simulation was created, it was actually programmed by 4 masters, right? 4 masters. So let's say when the simulation was designed, there are some 5 rules that in order for you to ascend, you have to go through this 5 experiences first. Then because I want you to understand what I mean when I say that the more you reincarnate, you will not leave the very same character. It'll always change, because it means that for some of you, it takes time for you to learn and finally grasp everything that you need to go through, each and every different experience that comes with different emotions that keeps on changing depending on how your daily life activity is, right? So Earth, we can say that Earth has been programmed that in order for you to finally ascend, you need to go through these 5 experiences first, right? The moment because it happens that if you have not learned to master this emotion, and it doesn't matter if it's good or bad, what matters is the experience and mastering it. If you haven't learned to be here or to overcome this emotion, chances you of coming back, you will be at the same pattern, but the character won't be the same. But it doesn't change that you need to overcome this. The moment you have done overcome, because you did overcome this emotion, the moment you come and overcome this, you move on to this, you move on to that, you might actually fail 9 times and be the same level of emotion or character until you finally reach the stage of ascending. Then you start to ascend, right? Like that's the example I might actually give, that the people that keep on reincarnating, finally at the end you will ascend, because you're just learning. So this is thank you very much, Galaxy, for it will be silly of me if I don't say thank you very much. I'm sending the positive energy back to you with the gift that you're giving me. So it might be a theory to you, to some of you this might be a theory, or maybe something. When Earth was, how to put this, the simulation has been programmed. That's why I'm saying that this is a game. And there were 4 masters that actually did that. And when they did this, these masters were not physical beings like you and I. When you ascend into these dimensions, you start to lose the material way of your being. There's an orb of a being, orb of light, a different character being, but it is a mastery of you having to learn and ascend. So these 4 masters are the ones that actually programmed the simulation. And when they did this is the first time, I don't know if I should be saying this. There's nothing wrong with the simulation. People make it seem like it's something very evil to control everybody. First of all, the simulation is not controlling anybody. It is programmed. And when these 4 masters programmed it, it was, at first, the program of it was like, if people start to learn and grasp this different knowledge of how they want to see the planet behave, according to the level of the program we do right now, it will follow that pattern. And this would actually teach people, or those who would like to say that they're very intelligent on how to use this to control people with it. Because again, the simulation is not controlling anybody. If we are, the way it has been programmed is for us to control it. And our energy that we give back to it, when it comes back, it follows that pattern. And most of the time, that pattern, it affects us negatively. So people would say that, okay, people would say that the head is the one that actually is leading, right? And when you look up into the beginning of the particles of a simulation, it is always something that is above, not entirely the sky, but anything that is above, it is known and understood as the control. Therefore, it becomes the head. And in this case, I'm going to use the sky, that the sky is the one that's above right now, and it is the one that's actually the head to control at some point, or to have, because anything that actually comes from the sky, it reflects as a download, because when it comes from the sky, it hits the head, and when it hits the head, you start to grasp this information, and when you start to grasp this information, it's easy to be influenced. That is why those who have learned to master, because the people that are controlling everybody, they've learned to master the simulation, how it behaves, and they use that to their own advantage to control everything and everything. when that happens, the way the simulation has been designed is, if I'm going to behave in a negative way, then multiply that and give it back to me. So there's nothing wrong with the simulation. That is why it is easy for people to cheat the simulation by using numbers, numerology, all of those things, because the same way it has been programmed, it was a form of a numbering system in a mathematical way to influence the patterns and the energies around us. So those who govern the simulation, they know that it is a multi-dimensional control that brings in multiple of characters that you might not actually see at some point or understand. But when this energy falls on us all, then it has a way to affect us. Now, when the simulation was programmed, it was actually bet on people when they come here, they're just going to do not necessarily good, but they'll actually align with all the energies that will actually impact them either positively or negative. Because I'll tell you one thing, that Earth before, it used to be this wonderful planetary system, and it had the simulation. Everything has a simulation. You have a simulation inside of you. The computer works has a simulation. Like, how can I explain this? Because I know people might actually disagree. Explain a sense of you having multi different thoughts at the same time, or you having different dreams that keeps on shape shifting, or you having a different feeling of a reality that expressed itself changing quickly, more than an ordinary one that might actually happen a few days back. I explained that the simulation pattern, something that actually keeps on changing, that if you get lost in this one energy, you might stay there for a very long time, and it might be very difficult for you to actually come back in that reality. So it is a trick, and that is why when you start to be a spiritual person, or you start to connect with those things, you have to reprogram your mind, because the way the simulation has been programmed, if you find yourself in a simulation that's already that has already been programmed for you, then it's useless for you to become a spiritual person, and you're not actually reprogramming your mind. So with the people that will say that it's hard for me to understand these things, I understand. You have to reprogram your mind. How do you reprogram your mind to start to grasp this knowledge? Forgetting everything that you've been taught from kindergarten, from school. And when I say forgetting everything that you've ever been taught, I'm saying question everything again. And this time you'll start to connect the dots, and everything will start to make sense. Everything will start to make sense. So again, there's nothing really wrong about, like, if something was wrong about the simulation, why are people having to gain a lot from it? The simulation is just a price, and if you don't know how to use it, then tough luck. The whole entire system is under the control of a simulation. And if, pay attention, look into the sky for a very long time, you'll see how the simulation behaves. And it wants you to see that, because a simulation is conscious. A simulation is conscious. Sometimes if you want to understand this information, it shouldn't be too deep and hard on yourself. Sometimes I laugh because this is like a game. I know someone is gonna say, no, man, don't say that. I know people are dying, children are getting everything. I'll tell you one thing. People usually say that, why is it that as people of color we're having it hard in this world and we are being hated? Um, we are not being liked. Um, the truth is, we yes, they're scared of us, but not in a sense you'd like to think that they're scared of us. This is something very ancient. As people of color, we used our chaotic energy in a negative way. We would actually destroy planets. I'm telling you. We destroyed so many planets. So many planets. And this is information you'll not get in the books. You'll not get this information from the books. We have destroyed so many planets, and when we came here in this planet Earth, when we came here in this Earth, it was more like having to learn to overcome that behavior pattern. So all the beings that come here, they're trying to contain us because they don't know what else we're going to do. They're afraid that we might actually destroy this planet, the power that we have. And when I say this now, I'm not trying to separate all people. I'm including everybody. But I was actually focusing on the fact that people ask themselves, why is it that black people are like this and this and that? I can't tell you everything here, but we are being contained. You are being contained because all these entities that you see come and they affecting or trying to enslave, that's the only way they can contain. This is deep, That's the only way they can contain, because they're afraid that we might lose it again and destroy this planet with our energy. They don't like doing it as well, but it's the only way they think is best to contain us, to enslave us. I'm not saying it's a good thing. No. If I were to open you up to put you in a place to see what I'm talking about, and I don't think I should continue talking about it, but if I were to take some of you into this reality and make you see what I mean by this, you'll be shocked. Right? You'll be shocked. This is a story for another day. Thank you very much for people that joined this live. I really do appreciate it, and have a wonderful ascension. Keep practicing,